What's up, everyone? Justin here, back with a new fantasy booking show. Fantasy booking of ECW's first ever pay per view, Barely Legal. I'm going to fantasy book it. And all the matches I've fantasy booked did not, one of them. One of them did happen on the show. I thought it was too good to not put it on my fantasy booking. So here we go with my fantasy booking of ECW Barely Legal 97. Or there was actually never another Barely Legal. There was only one. ECW's first pay-per-view Barely Legal. Let's get it started. I'm fantasy booking it. I was a huge, before I start, I just want to say I was a huge, obsessed, addicted ECW original fan. I loved it. Loved everything they did. I didn't start following ECW full time until the beginning of 99 is where I started ordering all their pay-per-views. And if you were a ECW fan in the late 90s, it was not easy to find. You had to stay up till like 3 or 4 a.m. on the weekends to see ECW Hardcore TV. And Hardcore TV, I think, just got on in my hometown. It just came on, or ECW just got syndicated into my state probably in the beginning of 99 or the summer of 99 is trying to think the first episode I saw of Hardcore TV. Again, it was on at like midnight or like 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. I don't know. I want to say September. I think August or September is when I first saw Hardcore TV in my state. Anyways, fantasy booking of ECW Barely Legal. Up first, let's start with an ECW TV title match. The current champion was Shane Douglas. The franchise, the guy was a great fucking heel. Some of his promos were not that great, but a lot of them were, but he cursed a bit too much, but whatever. That was his right to do that. So for the ECW TV title, I got Shane Douglas defending against, he was in a heated feud with him in 96. He broke his neck, Pitbull Gary Wolf. Now, the real Barely Legal Pitbull Gary Wolf could not wrestle. I think he had a neck brace on. He was still messed up, still injured, or recovering. But I would have Shane Douglas defend the TV title against Pitbull Gary Wolf. That would have been awesome. And I would have Gary Wolf win, become the new TV champ. What a pop, what a reaction that would have got. If Pitbull Gary Wolf could have wrestled at the real Barely Legal and won the TV title, that would have been awesome. Because the fans fucking hated Shane Douglas at Barely Legal 97. All this stupid TV light. I apologize if the flashing light bothers you. I just put it on to give myself some extra light. So Shane Douglas loses, drops the TV title to Pitbull Gary Wolf. Up next, let's go with a 6-man tag. The Dudleys. Bubba Ray. God damn, this commercial is like a fucking strobe light flashing. I don't know what the hell this commercial is, but it's for a flashlight. Let me turn this channel. So, anyways, that commercial was crazy. It was like flashing nonstop like a strobe light. That was pretty funny. Anyways, 6-man tag, the Dudleys, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, Big Dick Dudley against New Jack in the Eliminator 6-man tag. And I would have New Jack do a dive off a balcony and New Jack and the Eliminators win. So first 2 matches of my fantasy booking of Barely Legal, I have 2 baby faces winning. Or 2 matches of baby faces win. Up next, Spike Dudley. I thought he should have been on Barely Legal. He deserved to be on it. I want to say this. Spike Dudley, one of the toughest fucking wrestlers in the history of ECW. One of the goddamn toughest. Little Spike Dudley, that guy took insane bumps, insane beatings and punishment. I'm happy he can still walk. I just saw an interview with Spike Dudley on YouTube with Chris Van Vliet, whatever his name is. The guy's a good YouTube channel. Interviews a lot of wrestlers. So Spike Dudley was interviewed. I'm glad he looks healthy and he's doing good. He's not broken down and bitter or anything like that, but my God, little Spike Dudley took so much punishment and he kept getting up. The guy's tough as fucking hell. 5'5", 145, 155 pounds he was. That Spike Dudley, that guy was tougher than 90%, 95% of wrestlers. Today's wrestling in 2020, Spike Dudley, probably nobody in wrestling today could probably take what Spike Dudley took and not cry and bitch about it. They'd probably go to social media and cry about it. So anyways, Spike Dudley against Chris Candido. The real Barely Legal, he was injured. He had a shoulder injury, arm injury. He couldn't compete, but he did cut a good promo. Spike Dudley, Chris Candido. I would have Chris Candido winning. The first heel that I put over. Up next, let's go with Rob. I gotta do this. Rob Van Dam, RVD. Against Taka Michinoku from Michinoku Pro Wrestling. Taka Michinoku, RVD. I thought, and I think that would have been a great matchup. That's why I fantasy booked it on Barely Legal. RVD, Taka Michinoku. RVD wins. And Taka, man, he was great in his prime in the late 90s. He's still pretty good today, but I don't know if he still wrestles. I know he's in New Japan for, I think, last year. I don't know. But Taka was fucking great in his prime. Underrated. Never got pushed enough. He was WWE light heavyweight champion, the first ever. And he was a light heavyweight champion for a long, long time. He did get a good push, but then he was just pushed to the side and put in a comedy gimmick with Kind Tai. Even though that's funny. Especially on the mic. I think it's Funaki on the mic. You go, indeed. His voice was all dubbed. It was pretty damn funny. So Taka Michinoku in his prime was just great. RVD in his prime was fucking out of this world. One of the greatest athletes in wrestling history. The guy could do a flip off the top rope into the crowd like 20 feet away. Insane. So RVD wins, defeats Taka Michinoku. That would have been a great fucking matchup if it ever happened in ECW. Up next, let's go with Terry Funk for a number one contender match. Terry Funk against the Sandman. Terry Funk, the Sandman, the winner, becomes the number one contender to face the ECW champion after Barely Legal. Sandman, Terry Funk. It's a bloodbath, and I have Terry Funk winning. So up next, before the main event, this is a double main event. Double main event for Barely Legal, because these two matches are too big to not be, for both of them to not be main events. Up first, the first main event. Sabu, Taz. They were in a heated feud, built up for well over a year in real life. They never touched until Barely Legal. They did face off, actually, in 1993 in October in ECW. But that's the last time they had a singles match before Barely Legal. They were also tag partners in 95, I believe. Or late 94, 95. They were, I believe, ECW tag champs. So Sabu versus Taz, one of the main events. And I would have Taz winning. Yes, I did copy and steal Taz Sabu, and I put on my fantasy booking. I had to. It was too good of a matchup, too good of a feud. Taz Sabu, I would have had Taz winning. Now the main event, the second main event of Barely Legal for the ECW World Title. Raven was the champion. Raven defending against Tommy Dreamer. I just want to say, why was Tommy Dreamer not in a match at the real Barely Legal? Why? Was he injured? I don't know. Was there no spots for him? That ain't right that he didn't have a match. Yeah, he did appear and he got involved, but he should have had a match. He deserved it. So Tommy Dreamer Raven, the main event of Barely Legal, ECW's first pay-per-view for the world title. Raven, the defending champion, against the Innovator of Violence. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Innovator of Violence, main event, Barely Legal. That would have been a great, epic fucking main event. That would have been money. That main event, seriously, that main event, Paul Heyman, would have been money. Probably would have got a lot more buy rates if it was Raven, Tommy Dreamer for the world title. And look, I loved what they did at Barely Legal, the real one, with Terry Funk winning the title. That was great. Great reaction, great feel-good moment. And Terry Funk deserved it. The guy's a hardcore living legend. So, Raven, Tommy Dreamer for the world title. Tommy Dreamer wins, becomes ECW World Champion at the first pay-per-view. And then after he wins the title, out comes Terry Funk, the number one contender, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer. Terry Funk was Tommy Dreamer's mentor. Tommy Dreamer loves him, looked up to him in ECW. I just want to say, why did, that was bad and that was stupid to have Terry Funk turn on Tommy Dreamer in the beginning of 99, end of 98. Why was Terry Funk attacking Dreamer? I didn't like that. And it did not work. I didn't want to boo Terry Funk. That was stupid. He did get heat, but it was bad. Because I don't look at Terry Funk as a heel in ECW at all. Never did. In the 80s, yes. Against Flair, late 80s, yes. He was a great heel. In ECW, I loved Terry Funk. And nobody wanted to boo him. Ever. So that was stupid to turn him heel at the end of 98. Back to the end of Barely Legal, my fantasy booking. Terry Funk comes out, the new number one contender, faces off with Tommy Dreamer in the ring. Dreamer holding up the world title. And Funk and Dreamer face to face as Barely Legal goes off the air. Hope you enjoyed my fantasy booking of ECW's first pay-per-view, Barely Legal. I enjoy doing it. I love fantasy booking. Someday, maybe, hopefully, or maybe it'll never happen. Doesn't matter. I love booking wrestling. I absolutely love it. It's a passion. That's why I love doing fantasy booking shows. Anyways, follow me on Twitter at WWE NXT Guy. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me also on Instagram at Ambrose31Justin. Bye for now.